What about your own performances? Could you choose one that you think was particularly fulfilling, or that you just had a real blast doing?
Not really. They're all very hard. I mean, doing Happy Days, you don't really have a blast. You just work very hard. Or Mackinac or something. But I think probably if discomfort is built into some of what we do, you know, the pleasure is for the audience, not for the actor a lot of the time. It's quite hard work, actually. But I think probably the performing of Richard II against the maelstrom of controversy was, in retrospect, not at the time, but in retrospect, I was very pleased I had done it. At the time, I was terrified that maybe we shouldn't be doing it. So I'm very pleased I did that.
So why, just to make it obvious, why was it so
well,
terrifying?
I think it's marvellous to make this house, which is, you know, sort of a cathedral of culture in the city, a place also of experiment. And rather than just be, you know, climbing some ladder of trying to get more excellent with every part, to dare to veer right off piste and to do something as outrageous as it seemed at the time, to play Richard II in a theatre, you know, full of very brilliant actors who could play Richard II, did seem, but it somehow shook. I was very pleased that it did something. It reminded us that instead of seeing plays, history plays particularly, that the history plays of Shakespeare in this country had become acts of history. And they're not acts of history, they're acts of theatre. And it just reframed that. It said, this is theatre. It's not trying to be sacrilegious against the history of the country. It's about what we think the theatre should be. It should be playful, it should be inside out, it should be upside down, and I think it did that. And there were lots of letters of complaints, sometimes not always about me. Some of my henchmen in the show were young African actors, and we all the men in my court wore sort of dresses to try and make an ambiguity, sort of skirts, you know, medieval skirts. And somebody wrote in saying it was dreadful that there were no Africans in the court of Richard II, failing to say that I was a young Irish woman playing Richard II. So there was a lot of confusion, which was very entertaining.